You're listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, brought to you by Global Convenience Store Focus, featuring senior retail executives and experts in the global convenience, fuels, and mobility retail industry. Hosted by Dan Munford, Nick Scherzer, and Carolyn Schnare. Welcome to the Future of Convenience podcast. I'm Carolyn Schnare, and today I'm joined by my co-host Dan Munford. How you doing?
Hello again, Carolyn.
So today we're going to be talking about a market that we haven't covered before, which is Lithuania. Although we've talked with retail businesses we know very well, Reitan. But Dan, do you want to tell us a little bit more about that and our guest today?
Absolutely. Well, our guest today is Saulius Zilenas, who's CEO of Reitan Convenience Lithuania. And we're all really excited to talk to him today to get a sense of the market. I've never been to Lithuania. There's not that many markets that I haven't been to these days. So I'm really excited about finding out more. And also talking about how the Reitan business, which we, as you say, Carolyn, we know very well in the Nordics, how that Reitan business is positioned in the Lithuanian market and what's coming up in the future as well.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited. I haven't been to Lithuania either. So welcome, Saulius.
Yeah, so hello, and thank you for having me over there. So I'm excited to present the country, the business, and what we're doing here.
Very, very good. Well, let's begin by asking about Lithuania itself, the country, and just give us a bit, if you wouldn't mind giving us a bit of an overview of the country of Lithuania.
Yeah, so really, I'm glad to present my country, Lithuania. So, which economics, I would say, is one of the fastest now growing in the European Union. Even lately, when we have some economy slowdowns in some regions or some countries. Lithuania is located as a location on the eastern part of the Baltic Sea. So we are together with Latvia and Estonia, three countries form Baltic region. We are a country with less than 3 million population, so rather small versus other European countries. Capital Vilnius, and where around 25% of population is located. We can say that also Lithuania is the gates between East and West for ages, and so there is highly developed transport sector, which brings really high and important part of our GDP. And I would say lately we are really known of fast developing IT, fintech sectors. During last few years, a lot of mentioned sector companies also moved from Lithuania from Ukraine from Belarus because from going war and other geopolitical situations. So just some key aspects maybe from nowadays.
Very, very interesting. So it's very fast growing, but what about the consumer and the market opportunity? Obviously, Reitan, very successful business, one of the convenience giants across Europe, actually. But what's the market opportunity like in Lithuania for Reitan?
Yeah, so as overall, consumer probably is quite similar like everywhere in the world. And at least in Lithuania, we feel it that it's always demanding, looking for someone new. So competition for us is really high. I would say Lithuanian customer consumer also quite fast accepts the changes or new formats. We feel what we're doing quite fast accept new products. So we are really engaged in that. So from that perspective, it is really good business environment for creating new formats for new companies entering the country. So so I would say it's potential and easy adoptable.
So I'm familiar with, as Dan is and a lot of our listeners, with Reitan's, some of their formats. So now if you can correct me if I'm wrong, is it Narvesen and the Caffeine brands that you operate there? And if you wouldn't mind, can you just tell us a little bit about those two formats?
Yeah, so we have two of our beloved brands. So Narvesen, which represents convenience part of the business, and Caffeine. So Caffeine, it's a leading network, cafe network here in Lithuania and overall in Baltics. Also, we have few cafes in Oslo and Copenhagen. So as probably I will start from Caffeine. We were very famous as we are part of Reitan family group. So Here in Lithuania, we are top leading, let's say, experts in cafeteria network, and I'll be glad to show you then our experience. So maybe I'll tell a little bit story that Reitan as a family bought business in Baltics in year 2019. So we are here 5 years. Caffeine itself, and just to understand, it is a first mover overall in the market for takeaway coffee in our country, and it was overall established in 2007. So we are here 70 years in the market, and we are number one in the country in terms of how big our network is. I would say in terms probably the quality, the offer as well. For you, important also to know that when we talk about Lithuanian cafeterias market, there are no international brands, maybe, which is a little bit different from local markets. So we don't have like, I don't know, Starbucks or Costa or whatever. So we are just, as for now, just local brands. During acquisition 5 years ago, we had less than 40 cafeterias, and bigger part of them were present in capital, in Vilnius, especially in Old Town Zone. After we bought cafeterias, this network, COVID came. So, it was amazing time, crazy, amazing time, I would say. When it was really tough, we got, a new baby, and we had to close a lot of our business for a long period. But starting by year 2022, when COVID passed, we turned on additional power and started to invest a lot. So since year 2022, we doubled the network. And as for today, we have 88 cafeterias. We strongly expanded not just in Vilnius, but in Kaunas, Klaipėda, second and third biggest towns in Lithuania. And we have ambitions by next year to have 100 cafeterias in our country. We operate as a business. What also is maybe worth mentioning, that we operate in really many segments, as I may say so. So the most successful are high street, shopping malls, airports. Lately, we very strongly develop in such segments like local communities. So we open cafeterias in cities' residential areas, closer to our customers, where they live, closer to local communities. And I would say this segment becomes more and more important for us. Also, we are very popular in hospitals. So cafeteria business in hospitals is really making good progress. And we have even such cooperations like, with ice arenas. We have, for example, cafeteria in aqua park, big aqua park. So we can say that we are everywhere for everyone, for on-food customer by now. I can add also that this year, we have big success in development of our franchise model, because we are operating till now by COCO model, company operates. That means all our employees hours. But we wanted to speed up our development, so we decided that for medium and smaller towns of Lithuania, we'll propose franchise, and it was also a very success decision. We have really a lot of successful franchisees, and this figure is growing. And for us, as for the company, then we can focus from our, let's say, like people focus point of view and investment point of view. We can go for bigger projects and develop. For example, lately we introduced bakery cafeteria format, and we are testing even such one. Yeah, so this is one part of our business, cafeterias, which I can talk probably half an hour as just about it.
And you're just to jump in before we talk about the Narvesen, because I think Caffeine is a really interesting brand.
Yeah.
I've seen it, of course, in Copenhagen, Saulius, I've seen it in the airport in Copenhagen. I don't know how much that differs from what you have in Lithuania, but I love it. I always take pictures of it when I go there because it gets such a reaction. Well, I like how it looks from a design point of view. I think the product range is also really interesting. I mean, I've never seen anywhere where I can buy beef bourguignon in a jar, and you can actually buy beef bourguignon in a glass jar in cafes in Copenhagen Airport. So incredible diverse food range in that particular store. I don't know how much that differs, but yeah, I mean, there's some very exciting design work that's gone into this brand.
Yeah, so probably we're famous because of that. We really invest a lot of time and our wheels preparing each cafeteria design, and this is what makes us different from other our competitors, because you can build a lot of cafeteria, but you have to put your heart, and this also heart somehow relates to investment level. So yeah, I would say we don't have any copy paste cafeteria, despite everywhere you can see signature units, signature products. But each cafeteria we put something authentic, maybe for some local city, some local area, or specific, maybe it's like ice arena or whatever. So invest a lot. I can just tell also you touched also food and other products. So that coffee business for us takes about 70% of our portfolio, and the rest, bakery, food, like drinks, etc. It's about 30%. Just imagine the split and the importance what you just mentioned about non-coffee products.
Right. Very good. So, I mean, just before we move on, you're in a very strong position as far as coffee is concerned in the Lithuanian market. In other words, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you're ambitiously expanding. So it's a very exciting story. So,
Yeah.
what about the Narvesen brand? Narvesen's important too.
Yeah, definitely. Narvesen is very important, and Narvesen is, let's say, first baby in our portfolio. We have it since year 2014, when the Reitan family acquired business here in Lithuania. So we are present, everywhere in most important areas for convenience business, like in airport, railway, bus stations, city centers, business centers. So as for now, we have 49 Narvesen shops so far. A bigger part of them are located, of course, in Vilnius, where the biggest traffic and biggest potential for convenience market exists. What we're doing now, we are strongly modernizing our shops. As some of them were not renovated for quite long time, and we send quite clear message from the market that we want to be, modern and attractive convenience channel in the market. Of course, as in every convenience business, our biggest focus is definitely coffee, fresh food production, bakery products, cold drinks. So we are putting a lot of our attention to the details of having these products in our shelves, and that customers would like them. And one of our maybe latest, I can tell, success stories, which we have and we managed here to make in Lithuania, that we combined our two brands under one roof, as we say, and we have a project where we opened Caffeine and Narvesen shop together. That means in one of petrol stations we have two brands combined, and it was really a success that both these brands are growing each other, I would say. Another success story I can add also in this business, that also it was like first case in Baltics, we made shop in shop format, meaning that in most potential locations of Narvesen shops, we added caffeine coffee models. So that means that we have Narvesen shops and we are selling, caffeine coffee. Yes, caffeine is number one brand in Lithuania, so we attracted really a lot of customers, and it is, the biggest part or success of that in some areas or some locations we managed to double or triple coffee sales after we implemented that.
I mean, one last question on that piece, the consumer in Lithuania. I mean, you're very familiar with other Reitan markets that, I've spent a lot of time in, like the Danish market, the Norwegian market, the Swedish market. Is the consumer in a similar place in terms of their needs in Lithuania?
Good question. Maybe even not the easiest one, but probably yes. We are quite similar to Nordic countries. Even each Nordic country is quite still different. Yeah, if we compare Baltic and Nordic, so also it's hardly comparable, I would say. But from convenience, especially perspective, I wouldn't see really many big differences. Anyway, key categories like coffee, fresh food remains as most important everywhere. So just the markets are different. I mean how big they are and etc. But they are quite similar, I would say.
So I guess one other question that it made me think of is: are many of your customers like on foot, or are they more often driving? Like, are you on roadways? Like, where are or is it a big mix?
Good question. As for now, we are just let's say present mainly just on food market. We say yeah for but just have probably a few locations where we have on wheel customers. So the one I just mentioned that we have is first trial where we combine Narvesen and Caffeine under one roof, and this is working really well. In caffeine business, we have few drive-through formats in Vilnius, and it is really worth to see. So a drive-through format is really not the one which is developed. I mean, like a concept still in Lithuania so much as worldwide. So we see really big potential for drive-through format or being on the roads and highways, and probably we'll talk a little bit about it when we talk about EVs. So if I would tell from market perspective, so on wheels or automotive passengers, market is really strongly developed. We have really good competition from the market, and coffee takeaway food convenience is really on really high level. So we face really good competition from fuel retailers over there, and they are, let's say, almost 100% managing the market, because there is some specific that here in Lithuania we don't have QSR's presence on the market for on the highways, for example, like McDonald's, Burger King, or whatever. So everything almost in the hands of fuel retailers or some small private cafeterias, and that's it. So we do see really big potential for ourselves to go outside from the cities with both brands, and we have some plan already, which I can share later on.
Well, let's talk about that because obviously I'm very much looking forward to coming over to Lithuania. I'm coming on the beginning of December, Saulius, and you're very kindly going to host me, and we're going to look at something which you know I'd say it's got a lot of attention. It hasn't been. It's almost built. It hasn't been built. It hasn't been finished and open to the public yet. But we've seen a few architects' pictures of this new EV hub. We'd call it an EV hub. I'm not sure how you describe it, but it looks very exciting. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Dan. So yeah, I know, and we expect you on the second week of December. So I believe we're gonna spend really nice few days here in Lithuania. Uh, if to start the story as overall, so how this EV hub appeared? Yes, we call it like EV hub, electric charge station. So it's the same. So electric cars market, let's say, just has lower than average level development here in our country if we compare it with average in Europe, and now it's getting the speed. So we together with a partner is called L Drive company. We are in cooperation for more than 2 years, and this partner is also building a lot of electric chargers in the cities, but one or two unit. And we still don't have in Lithuania these EV hubs like on highways when you're driving, through the country, and you stop somewhere like in normal petrol stations, so like in EV station, yeah. So this is fully just kickoff of that market. So we established that cooperation 2 years ago, and projecting everything takes a lot of time. So this 2 years passed, and now we are allowing 3 out of 4 projects, which we're gonna have per closest 6 to 12 months. Uh, yeah. So if we talk about this EV hub, so it is planned that at the beginning it will be possible to serve 20 cars at once, and the project is that when there will be much more electric vehicles in Lithuania, it will be possible very easy to double, just to add one canopy and to put 10 chargers with 20 spots on top. And why it is important for us? So I have experience also like from fuel retailing, and I always had a dream to get outside with at least with convenience here. But to do it alone, it's not so easy, because fuel retailers has fuel and etc. And you have just convenience, so investments are really high. So I'm really happy that we found this opportunity, and we'll be able to go out to this on wheels sector really soon. So as we said, we'll have 4 these cooperations per 6 to 12 months, or better to say by end or second half of 2025, and our plan is to have up to 10 such locations. So we will combine both of our brands again, Narvesen and Caffeine. We have around 250 square meters premises for like selling premises. I mean, not back office. And will be like that when you enter the premises, on the one side, like right side, we will have Narvesen as very modern concept. We will be preparing all fresh food will be done locally in the premises. We'll have definitely bakery, coffee takeaway as an options, and all the best features which we can offer in convenience business as for now. Another side of the premises will be cafe and cafeteria, so which will feature all the signature units and signature products like coffee, our famous cheesecake or ham croissant. So customer will be able to select which part we'll be preparing, and on top we'll have also drive-through option, which will be in cafeteria side, meaning that the customers which will be either in rush, or the weather is bad and they don't want to get outside, so they'll be able to use drive-through option and just to be served through the window. So yeah, in our country it will be first such formats, and we're really proud and excited to open it within exactly 4 weeks.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to seeing it, and yeah, I think it's very interesting, Carolyn. I mean, I think one of the reasons I'm looking forward to going to see this is that you've got a scenario where caffeine is such a strong brand in the market, so you've got the right brand to put in there, haven't you? And then because of EV, you've got an opportunity to get into a highway location that you wouldn't have perhaps had otherwise. So it's a very unique kind of interesting scenario for you as well. And I think the other interesting thing is that we've always said since we've started covering this that this is the opportunity for a new format. We haven't, if you think about the formats that we're used to, we've had motorway formats for 100 years, petrol station formats. Well, let's say petrol station formats for 100 years, motorway service station formats for 60, 70 years, drive-through formats we see as the young relation, but actually they're quite old too, because if you look at the US, you've had drive-through formats for decades as well. Yeah. But there's this new opportunity for a different kind of format, and it's difficult to do that in many markets because there's so many legacy sites that tend to get converted or adapted or have EV chargers put on them. But it's happening. Grid Serve are doing this in the UK, but I'm really interested to see how this works. And I mean, my guess would be it's going to work very well because you have the right brands, right retail brands in there to attract EV drivers.
So yeah, I can add also maybe as like from let's say business perspective that making a business case here. We are not basing everything that will be just EV drivers, which will make our premises full. Definitely we expect it, but as I said, the market is just growing, of course, growing fast. And as you then said, that is why we have two brands. We didn't go just with one brand, Narvesen, but as you said, we'll use also the strength of our cafeteria brand, which caffeine is number one, as I said, in Lithuania. So at least at the beginning, caffeine attract a lot of our customers because we have thousands of customers in the cities. But when we are leaving and going, I don't know, to the coastline, to the countries, etc., we are stopping somewhere, like mainly even if you have EV car in fuel retailers options. So we believe that this will be something really excited for our customers as well. And yeah, when making business plan, as I said, we put a lot of on ourselves, not just on partnership with EVs. And we believe that later growing within 2, 3, 5 years, EV amount will be, let's say, big thing, let's say, which will bring our P&Ls very positive, I would say like that.
Well, I can't wait to go see it.
Yeah, definitely. It's very cool to hear. I mean, we have the opportunity to talk to dozens of different countries and people around the world and companies that are, some are just starting their journey in the EV place like you kind of are. And I think everybody's just figuring it out as we go, especially here in the United States. And it's really cool to hear how everybody's evolving as quickly as possible. But the offer that you've built is just astounding because you're looking at the whole customer, not just let me make sure that I fuel up with whatever goes in the car, whether it's liquid or
Yeah,
electricity, but you're thinking of the entire customer journey and the entire customer experience. And
yeah, exactly.
I look forward for one to see Dan's trip when he goes next month and see some more pictures of when your store's open and live. And I hope you would consider coming back and tell us all about that, how it goes in a year or two, and see if I know you're rapidly growing. I wrote down some numbers of your stores of each of the different types of formats and how they're expected to grow in the next year. So I think you're going to be pretty busy. So if you can squeeze us into your schedule, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So with that, I really thank you for taking time today to join us, Dan. I hope you have a great trip. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, no, I am. Again, I traveled a lot, and it's always nice to go somewhere that I don't know, and also a market, that seems to be developing in such an interesting direction as well. So yeah, can't wait. That's actually probably going to be my last trip before Christmas as well. So that's another good thing. I've done a lot of miles this year.
So I promise it will be really good then.
Very good. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time this afternoon. And also to our listeners, thank you for listening to The Future of Convenience. You've been listening to The Future of Convenience podcast, produced by Dan Munford, Nick Scherzer, Jenna Ferguson, and Lorraine Evans. It is produced, edited, and mixed by Carolyn, Schnare, and music is provided by Jukebox Music. Tune in every other Friday for new episodes, and please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Learn more at globalconveniencestoreFocus.co.uk.